Alright guys, how's it going? It is Wednesday the 6th of April 2022 and you're watching CopTalk.tv. Alright, so as you can see, I'm working in another room today. So the audio is maybe a little bit echoey, but that's because it's very minimalistic. I don't have any pictures on the walls or any rugs or carpets or anything. Before we start today's video properly, could you tell me what colour I should do this wall? It needs a lick of paint, and I would like to do my videos in here as well at the moment. And I don't know, should I go with the grey that's like usually on my videos? Should I go with a nice white? Or should I be dramatic and just go like Liverpool red? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. It's very important decisions, guys, you know what I'm saying? But it needs a lick of paint, whatever, because if I turn that chair around and move my head across, you can see there, look, there's a little, how do I do it there? There's a little mark on the wall or something, I don't know. I've just moved into this room to do a bit of writing and that, so I like it in here, it's nice. Are you alright then? Yeah, good. I did do a video yesterday for those of you that support the channel. I'm finding it hard to make videos. I feel like I say that a lot. But we're having a lot of success at the moment, and it's very easy to run your mouth when things are not going right. And when things are going right, I get very frightened of saying anything, right? And what I mean by that is, like inside, I'm absolutely buzzing about everything at the moment. But to come on here and go, do you know what, guys, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. I don't think that's the right thing for me to do, because you're setting yourself up for a fall then. So, I need you to understand that a little bit. It's a little bit bright in here. It's the light here. Look, see. Don't know how I'm going to deal with that in the summer, but we'll work it out. Actually, I don't know. I mean, I should still continue to make my videos in my studio, but it's 2 floors below me, and I can't be asked to walk down there when I'm doing some work at the moment. No, you know, I want to, you know, cheer as loud as you are. I want to be as enthusiastic as you are, but. You know, I hate it when you talk about what might happen or what's going to happen. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then it doesn't happen. And then 3 years later, some fucking, you know, United fan will come on my video and put a comment in, and it'll fucking, you know, do you know what I mean? They'll go, "This aged well," and I'm a bit pathetic like that. It makes me angry. So if I'm not saying anything at the moment, trust me, it's because I'm in a good place with the way things are going at the club. And I also think I mentioned this on the Cop Talk podcast yesterday. If you've got Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or any decent podcast app, you'll find it on there. I think I mentioned yesterday that I think the summer's going to be a good one. I do. I think the summer's going to be a good one. Now, normally I go into a summer, you know, or a transfer window going, it better be a good one, or I hope it's going to be. I just get that feeling that it's going to be really good. Now, obviously, Liverpool were in action last night and secured that 3-1 important victory, very, very important victory away to Benfica. Great header by Konate. You know, obviously Mane was on target. Diaz, just amazing, to be honest with you. And you know, I'm very excited about, you know, the likes of Jota and Diaz. These are you know, great players that we seem to have been blessed with, and possibly the future of you know, Liverpool Football Club for many years. The Mo Salah situation I talked about in depth yesterday to you guys, so I won't repeat myself on that front. We've seen more positive things about that, haven't we, since last weekend, and obviously the Egypt's sports minister has suggested that Salah does want to stay, but that's nothing new. You know, we're told that anyway. So you know what? I have complete faith in the manager and the recruitment team at Liverpool Football Club. I kind of still think that Mo Salah will stay. I've never really thought that he will leave, and I think the reason for that is that I don't think he has a lot of options, to be honest with you. That might sound strange. You know, you might think, well, how does Mo Salah not have a lot of options? Because of the financial package that his agent is allegedly demanding. I don't think there's many people could do that. You know, I think if Real Madrid came in for him, I don't think that we would have a chance of keeping him, to be honest with you, regardless of financial packages. Man City have not been mentioned with him. You know, they could afford him, but Liverpool have dug in and you know, they've stuck to what they are going to offer, and that's it. And I think Liverpool are handling this very well, and I'm completely on side with the club with this, without a doubt. But as things currently stand, as of today's date, and we know that things can change within minutes, I feel that I just feel positive. I think he'll stay, and I think we'll get him for another year anyway. I don't know, honestly. I have no idea. I just don't think his agent's very helpful. But I didn't really want to talk about Mo Salah, or as Fabrizio Romano would say, Mo Salah. Fuck off. No, I mean, like, you know, this game last night was a very important victory for us, obviously. And I just think that when you look at some of the performances of the players in that team, and, you know, when you see Luis Diaz, you know, performing as he does, you know, he's only one example. I just look at that and think, I'm not really worried about the future. I don't care who leaves anymore. Now, a few years ago, I think when we got to the likes of like Suarez leaving and Coutinho, I think, you know, I was a bit more cautious, and I was like, oh, you know, what's going to happen now? I seem to have gone back to like the fan that I used to be, like back in the 80s, if you like, or I was a kid in the 80s, so in 84 I'd be 10, but I mean like late 80s or something. Even early 90s, even though I was deluding myself maybe a bit because Liverpool had then fell into that not so good place. But as a Liverpool supporter back then in the day, and I'm sure there's older supporters than me as well that would go back to the 70s and whatnot, you know, I don't know, I feel like I came from a generation of when I supported Liverpool that you didn't worry about a key player leaving. I mean, even when Ian Rush left, I was heartbroken. But then we got John Aldridge, you know, which was like looking at the same player in some ways. And we sort of like, we were Liverpool Football Club, you know, and we would overcome anything. And I've got back to that confidence, if you like. Now, have any of you guys, do you understand what I mean? So, you know, in the past, I would be worried about key players leaving. In recent history, I would be worried about like key players leaving, you know, and then thinking how we're going to manage. And now I just think, let them go, you know, because I have complete faith in the manager and the recruitment team in terms of bringing in players that are like, holy fuck, you know, they're great. But then you have that little thing in the back of your mind that goes, yeah, but what about, you know, if and when Jurgen goes, will there be that continuity? But, you know, we don't want to talk about negatives. Great result last night. I welcome your opinions on that. And do you understand what I mean when I say that now we have turned that corner so much now that, you know, I go into every game as a Liverpool fan, and I did even when we were shite, to be honest, and thinking, well, I'm not scared of them, you know, we'll do them, sort of thing. And of course, you know, you have your ups and downs. You know, you're gonna fall at some point and be disappointed, but those days are not as frequent as they used to be. And the main point I'm trying to make is that when we were going through all the drama of the ownership and things like that, when we lost your star player, and we maybe only had 1 or 2 star players or something in the team at that time, it was a nervous time, you know, like what's going to happen next, you know, we just signed Ricky Lambert kind of thing. Whereas today, I'm very much like, I tell you something now, absolutely anybody could leave that side and I would not be worried. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't be like, you know, like Virgil van Dijk leaves or Alisson or something like that. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be like happy about the situation or like blasé. But I just the way that they do the recruitment at the moment, it's just like these players coming in like Luis Diaz and Jota as well. You know, these are players' names that, you know, like, we always tend to, as football supporters, whoever we support, we follow these high-profile players, don't we? You know, like Haaland, for example. You know, people talk about Mbappe, like, oh, we're going to go. But it's finding these, like, this other... It sounds disrespectful saying this, like, other level of player, but then it's what they become, you know. And if you look at that Liverpool team, you know, some of those... I mean, even Mo Salah, when he was, you know, at Roma... he wasn't that player that he is today. There was no one, really queuing up to sign Mo Salah. Virgil van Dijk was a great player, but nobody really battled for him. We know that from the documentary that we watched, Man City were in Ireland and stuff like that. But, we as supporters, I think, sometimes look at the obvious and go, oh, he'd be great for us because he's a great player. But to have that focus, that intelligence, to think, well, we can go and get Luis Diaz or Jota or something like that and make them into an exceptionally outstanding player. It's incredible, and I can honestly say that in my time as a Liverpool fan, and I'm 47 now, I don't think I've ever seen this kind of recruitment. I mean, I can look back to, say, the 80s, when we were signing the likes of Beardsley, Barnes, Aldridge, and even a little bit later, Rob Jones, for example, players like that. The recruitment around them seemed pretty good. But today, we end up being linked with some of these players that only maybe a really diehard fan that watches all different leagues, but I don't have time to do that. A lot of these players, are linked with us, and I'm like, well, who's that? And then you get a few people that say, well, I watch a lot of German football, Dunk. I know he's very good, but not many. And then they come in, and it's like, it's amazing. As Brendan Rodgers would say, fantastic. So I just wish that we're given a bit of hope that the manager would stay, but I think he's tired. I think he needs a break. I do think that if Liverpool are successful, highly successful around that time, maybe he would extend. But the chatter is, I seen some shit that some people were talking about on social media, on Twitter or something. I do not follow any of these Twitter twats, right? But sometimes I'll see people that I follow that I like you guys, some of you guys that I know or whatever, that I interact with, and I'll see you guys mention it, and I'm like, where's that come from? And you say, oh, the first indications that Klopp's going to extend, and it's like, that's just not true. It's not true, and that could change. And in the future it may be true, but right now, people saying that, they're just doing it to try and get your attention, build up followings, and promote their betting affiliations and things like that. So just be cautious of those people. It's a concern for me, the managerial situation. I'm kind of thinking that maybe Pep will become that man. I think that's the original idea. That's a continuation. I think that you need to, if you're interested in things like that, is look at his interviews, his philosophy, the way he talks, the way he behaves. But we'll see, and I'm not picking my nose, guys. I just got an itch. We will see. Liverpool. We've lost other good managers before over the years, and we've survived. But Jurgen Klopp, for me, I think he's got to be the greatest Liverpool manager I've seen in my history. That I've seen with my own eyes. I'm fully aware of your Fagans, your Paisleys, your Shankleys. Gerard Houllier was incredible. Dalglish, first time around, incredible. We've been blessed. Brendan Rodgers and Roy, they tried the best, okay, but and Rafa. Yeah, I love Rafa. That. Oh, my screen's gone off. I must be talking for a long time. Does that mean I've been talking 10 minutes? 14 minutes? For me, it's not just about the trophies that somebody wins as the manager. It is about their ability for the recruitment and identifying and making those players better. You might say, well, maybe things will change. Maybe Edwards is responsible for all of this. I think we've had good scouting networks over the years. I don't want to say no, it's nothing to do with him. I just think that the manager overall is the one. And if you compare, say, Rafa, as Tomix used to say, if you compare Rafa with Jurgen Klopp, they're both very, very good managers, but you've got Rafa that's as cool as a cucumber. You'd see the goals going on a penalty shootout and he'd just be there writing on his little pad and, all right. Whereas you got Jurgen, I think he's more like us guys. It's more like boom, 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 okay, you know what I mean? And I genuinely think that part of his personality, the way he puts an arm around a player, very inspirational, I think. Very inspirational. And I think if you were a player, you wouldn't want to let him down, would you? You know, you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him, but he's not going to have a go at you just because you maybe not played great. I'm sure he'd tell you the truth. What do you think, Jurgen? You know, are you kind of with me on this? You know, what do you think? Do you think that his personality, does the personality of a manager really have that influence? I mean, you could look at Kenny Dalglish, fucking hell, laid back as anything. I couldn't tell you what Shankly was like or Paisley, etc., because I never watched any games with them as a manager, so I wouldn't know how if they were animated or not. From what I see, I don't think they were that kind of managers, from what I understand. But I also think that back then, that Liverpool had such an aura around it of confidence that maybe you didn't need to be animated as much back then, because by default Liverpool was successful and you already had this huge reputation of being the best. And I think it takes a while for that to lose that. For example, I think United have lost that. So I don't think who the manager of Manchester United at the moment matters, because that, we would say Fortress Anfield or whatever, but if you wanted to say like Fortress Old Trafford or whatever, I don't think people go there now shitting themselves thinking, oh, this is Manchester United. Just like teams in the 90s maybe came to Liverpool, late 90s or whatever, and were like, big Liverpool, big this is Anfield. Because I remember looking at the this is Anfield sign, that I think that used to put fear into the opponents. But I think during our downfall, or our less successful period or years, can you imagine being a visiting player? You'd be like, so what is Anfield? Fuck what it is. And I think if you've got that reputation, if you've got that strength, that power, that history, then that's helping the manager that's in the dugout. I think Jurgen Klopp is the one that's like brought all that back. Do you know what I mean? Because I think now if you were to walk down that tunnel, or I'm looking back in the days, down the tunnel where they put the hands, you know what I'm saying? It's a different layout, I know that, but you know what I mean? It's the same principle of this is Anfield. I think visiting players now today would look at that and go, fucking hell. Did they do that under Brendan Rodgers, for example? I'm not digging, I'm just saying. So there is a big difference in the managers, and for me it's a worry. I'm a little bit worried about Edwards leaving, but not so much so, because I think he's a negotiator and I think he's done some good stuff, there's no doubt about it, but I genuinely don't think he's the most important person. He's an important person, but not the most. And I think that he will be schooling his understudy and all that, and I think we'll see continuity there. That'll be all right. I think we've got a great background set up. But nevertheless, it's still a change and not one that I'm looking forward to, even on that front. But the manager, that does worry me. That does worry me. I do think, what's going to happen in the future. We're not talking a lot about the owners at the moment because things are going right. It's a nice time, isn't it? Not just because we're going like challenging for different silverware or winning silverware, but we're not seeing Liverpool supporters arguing with each other because everything's going right at the moment. No one's really talking about the owners. No one cares, about the owners at the moment. And that's how I want to be as a supporter. I don't want us to be an accountant. I remember us years ago writing an editorial on the website saying, it's now tens of thousands of accountants following Liverpool Football Club, not fans, because we would have a discussion and say, we've been linked with this player, and then all of the debate would be, well, we can't afford it, or this, that, or the other, or whatnot. Can you hear that bike? That might be a downside to being in this room. Fuck, it sounds like a little hairdryer. I won't embarrass myself. Not that it'd fucking move if I sat on it. What's that behind me? Oh yeah, can you see that? Yeah, how do I see that? There's no money in it, guys. It's just full of porn. Used to be. Right, I'm off. Okay, so colour on the wall. Like fuck the video content. So what do you think? What colour shall I do? I'll go with what you guys say. I don't know if red, like Liverpool red, might be too much. I don't know. I like grey, mate, but I like it in this room. This used to be my office many years ago, more than 10 years ago. And it's the smallest room. I work from 4 locations in my house: studio, office. I do a bit in the lounge sometimes, usually in winter. And this is my writing room. But this is, I've only been in here about a week, and I'm really liking it again. To the right here, to this side, is these huge doors, sliding doors that go onto a balcony, and it's just beautiful out there. So I like it. It's just got a good feel about it. But I need to sort that colour on the wall, definitely. I won't be doing all my videos in here because I have got a proper room for doing them in. You know, it's just it's been a bit shitty here, the weather, the last 2 or 3 weeks. And when it's like that, it's a bit cold and miserable and that, you know. So when the weather picks up, we'll be good, guys. So thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate you watching. Please, you know, if you're a regular here and you watch, just chime in a comment, because sometimes I don't see some of you for a while. I just want to make sure you're all right. I like to see you in there. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to support the channel, you can click on join. The info's in the video description. And I really do appreciate you guys that support me and don't just bail on me if I don't churn a video out for a week or two. You know, you guys rock. I know that we've all had to make cutbacks. I've had to change things on the podcast, for example. I've brought a new tier in for people to support on that. It's only £1 a month. It doesn't really help me, but it helps you guys. And I know some of you have taken advantage of that, because life's a bit hard at the minute, isn't it? We had that bloody pandemic. The cost of living has gone through the roof. I've had an electric bill for 3 months because I've switched company, and I'm absolutely shitting myself. Because I switched company because it was expensive, and since then electricity and fuel bills have gone through the roof. So I don't know, maybe we should make as many videos as we can before they cut me off, but I have no idea what's going on that front. But it's a nightmare, it really is. So yeah, if you're in a position to support the channel or become a CopTalk member, that's even better. CopTalk.com, membership on the right hand side, that would be great. I'd love to see you on the members site. 24 years now, guys. Let's hope we can do another quarter of a century. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So let me know what you think about the game last night. Let me know your thoughts about anything I've said about the manager and his style and everything. You know, obviously we've got this this next, you know, big game coming up. I'm sure you saw. Where's the? I'm getting old, guys. Obviously, you saw the officials that were confirmed for the Manchester City game. I'm just looking on the members' website now, and there was a great tweet put out by Paddy Power yesterday that said the Premier League has announced that Anthony Taylor will referee Man City versus Liverpool with Paul Tierney on VAR duty. So I'd already written on the members' website or posted, you know, Manchester-born referee Anthony Taylor will take charge of Liverpool's game against Man City, while Paul Tierney, also from Manchester, will be on VAR duty. And Paddy Power, you know, said the same thing. And then they said the PL also confirmed that the Gallagher brothers will be the linesmen for the game, with Chesney from Coronation Street as fourth official. Well, I just couldn't stop laughing at that. And maybe, you know, like people could say, yeah, but, you know, just because it's Manchester, it could be a Man City fan. I think I do know the team that is said to support. It's Altrincham or something like that. I can't remember. But it's not just that, is it, guys? It's like, it's the influence that, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that referees are bent in any way, shape or form. But it's, if you're from Manchester or something, you know people, you have friends in Manchester, you have connections in Manchester. And, you know, you're the referee and you're completely neutral, genuinely neutral, and you come to a decision in the 92nd minute. Is it a penalty? Is it not? You've looked at the VAR and you go, what shall I do? What shall I do? And then you go, oh, you know, my brother, he's fucking massive. Like, I'm never going to get the end of it. So if they can't call it, could they really be influenced by the connections and friendships and in the area? What do you think about that? It's ultimate paranoia. I get that. And I don't usually go with stuff like that. When people start going, oh, we get ripped off, and I always think these things level themselves out. And most fans think they're always getting ripped off and are singled out. You know, they call it, you know, Liverpool and stuff like that. People reckon we get decisions going in our favour. But do you really think that that a referee, a professional referee, could be in any way influenced by where he's from? You know, if it's a 50-50, I really don't know how to call it. But, if like, let's just say, for example, my grandson, right? Sadly, his dad supports Sunderland, his mum, Charlotte, obviously supports Liverpool. Daddy's prerogative a little bit, I think. I don't think I'd like to argue the toss with him. It's his boy, and the pictures I see of my grandson are usually in a Sunderland kit. And last weekend, or the other weekend, there was a picture of him on Facebook, the trophy, and I had to get in the comments. He was in his Sunderland kit. He'd been at some Sunderland football thing or something, and I was like, he's already got more trophies than Sunderland. I just can't help it, you know what I mean? Because the poor lad's going to regret it. When he gets older, he could have been a Liverpool fan, but he's going to be a Sunderland fan by the looks of things. He does have a Liverpool kit as well. Maybe when he gets a bit older, he'll come round. But I'm a professional referee. I'm refereeing Sunderland versus Newcastle, right? It's the League Cup final, which would be quite funny seeing them two in it. But there you go. It's the 94th minute. It's 0-0. There's a penalty shout, all right? And I'm thinking about my grandson, thinking, well, I don't know which way to go here. I'm going to fucking kill me. What? Do you think that's ever happened? Do you think that's ever happened? I mean, deadly serious. Don't just go, yeah, they're going to do us over. We don't know. It might go in our favour, but I don't know. The point I'm making here, or trying to make, is why would the football authorities do that? Because if there is something controversial, you're opening up questions of integrity and stuff like that. So wouldn't it have made more sense to have a referee and officials that are not from Manchester? Is that too simple? Or should it be, no, professional, best referees, blah, 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 blah. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't think there'll be a Cop Talk podcast today. I'll have to see what news is about. If not, we'll do one in the morning. All right. So, don't just watch the video and don't say anything, especially if we've interacted before, because, I just want to make sure that you're all right. And sometimes names disappear for a while. The views are there. I see you watching or whatever. And I apologise if it's echoey. If it is too echoey, could you please give me some feedback? Because I'll just put some rugs down or something like that, I'm not going to do all my videos in here, but there's times like this when I'm working, when I can quickly do a video, and it's just easier for me, you know what I'm saying? All right, guys, thanks very much. Thanks to those of you that support me, and if you want to help a brother out, do join the channel or go to coptalk.com and get a membership there. That would help me greatly, and you obviously get all the videos on the members website, the extra podcast, everything and all that. All right, guys, be good, and give us some comments, give us something to talk about, all right?